What is going on, people? We are back again with another freaking video. This one right here is all about Kris and her son Dayne. Now, when it comes to Kris, we know that she disappeared for up to 5 months after getting married to Jeymi. And one of the reasons was because when she got back to Alabama, her son had been arrested. And because he'd been arrested, she took responsibility as a mother to be there for him. But here's the thing though, after finding out a little bit more details about what went down with the son and what he was arrested for, the timeline just doesn't seem to add up correctly. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Starcusm themselves in particular, Starcusm.net, Shadow Chief obviously giving us this information. But as you can see, it does start off by saying, according to Alabama court records, Kris's son Dayne was arrested on April 28th, 2022. He was charged with felony possession of a controlled substance and a felony count of trafficking fentanyl. Dayne posted a bond of $50,000 and was released on April 30th. It doesn't appear as though Dayne is using a public defender, as there is a retained attorney listed for him. The initial criminal case was filed in district court with the most recent docket entry indicating that the case was disposed by waiving of the grand jury. That means that the case will likely move to circuit court for an indictment and further proceedings. I mean, listen, with that being said though, this is where it gets rather interesting. Now, as you can see, it does say that the timings of Dayne's arrest raises a few questions. I would have assumed Kris and Dayne filmed for the other way after his arrest, but he is listed as being 18 years old on the show. He had just turned 19 when he was arrested in April of 2022. It's hard to believe that they would have chosen to participate in one of the most popular and most scrutinized reality TV franchises in the world with a pending fentanyl trafficking charge. I mean, listen, for me personally, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised, despite the fact that he says that it is hard to believe that they would do this. After seeing meeting Kris on the show, to be honest with you, she's the kind of person who would be like, well, we're going to get paid anyway, so F it. Because let's be real. A part of her storyline was all due to money. A part of her storyline with Kris was both of them being involved with money. Right now, say with the Jeymi was a part of it being involved with money. And she also spoke about how she had to go back to Alabama and she had to keep working to earn some more money as well. So to be honest with you, when money's on the line, for some people, it makes them still want to continue with the maddest things possible. That is just the reality of it. But here's the thing though, if this arrest happened at the time before the film happened, or maybe after the film happened, or something like that, it doesn't necessarily add up, because the arrest allegedly would have happened during the filming time, because of course Kris had gone and married Jeymi, and then the incident then happened after she'd married Jeymi, which therefore then brought her back to Alabama. So to be honest with you, it does raise questions and it gets a little bit more funky. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm not surprised that TLC still took the money anyway, because TLC take on criminals every single freaking season, if you ask me. But anyway, with that being said though, just to finalize, it does say here that Dayne is facing time for the charges, but it could have been much worse. Alabama recently passed a bill making penalties for trafficking fentanyl much more harsh. The bill was passed just last month and sets a minimum of 10-year prison sentence with at least 3 years served for trafficking fentanyl. You can receive a life sentence if you are caught with 8 grams or more. So really and truly, man, like her son is obviously very lucky that this has happened at this time rather than before. But at the same time though, are you lucky enough to be in a life where you end up actually selling fentanyl or trafficking it, the whole shebang? No. So in reality, whether he's lucky or not, he's not, because in reality, this boy should not be in a position where he's even doing these kind of things. And to be honest with you, Kris, heavily stressed about, as a mother, she's going to put her child first. And that was one of the arguments of why she ghosted Jeymi for such a long time. Well, as a mother, shouldn't you have raised your son to be better? As a mother, shouldn't you have raised your son to not be in a position where he was going to be selling drugs? And the crazy thing is that we know that Kris already has a relation with another man who was also arrested for drugs anyway. So in reality, to be honest with you, while Kris talks about being a mother, to be honest with you, her role as a mother has clearly been a shambolic one for all the years her children have been alive anyway. Because like I said before, why the hell was your son in this position in the first rock class place anyway? That is the real question, if you dig what I'm saying. But either way though, whether or not we're unable to figure out the timelines, and whether or not we're figure out obviously what is true and what is not in terms of, you know, his birthday, him being 18 on the show, but then him being 19. The matter of fact is, she still ended up being in the show, and even her son ended up being in the show anyway. And we're in a position where Kris is just one of those people who will never take accountability for her own actions. Her actions are always someone else's fault. And when it gets tough and she can't handle the actions, what does she do? She gets up and runs away. Or, as we saw on the Tell-All Part 1, if it gets hard and it gets annoying, she'll just push you out of the way. No mercy. And this is a woman that wants to preach about being a mother who knows her responsibilities, or putting her son before anybody else. Girl, bye. Anyway, with that being said, you guys let me know exactly what you're thinking down below in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, sub, and of course, peace.